This dude is amazing. Josh, I'm just going to bring you on, man. All right. You are now live on Becoming Your Greatest Possible Self. Welcome, dude. Welcome. Thank you for taking time to share with our audience, man. Appreciate you.
Let me tell you something. The impact of the ripple effect of you being on my show is still going on. I literally walking through San Diego. I was at an event, a mastermind, Eric Swanson's mastermind event.
Yeah.
And I had people come up to me to talk to me about my interview with you.
Dang.
Dude, I mean, you're on fire. And then you have Brian coming up.
Yep.
And then you have Elizabeth Cooper.
Yep.
I love Elizabeth. Oh my God. Like, Elizabeth is great people, and not enough people know who Elizabeth is and about what she's about.
Yeah.
Amazing woman, amazing actress, but she has some of the most genuine, pure intentions I've ever met of anyone in the entertainment industry. Wow. And Elizabeth is the real deal. I've gotten to know her like outside of the internet. Like, in fact, I actually don't even really know her from online. I know her personally.
Wow.
Amazing soul. And then, of course, Brian Wright is just an amazing dude. So I'm so blessed to be on your show, man. But I got to tell you, I'm still feeling the impact of when you came on my show last Friday. It is such a blessing, dude. Thank you so much for that. And I mean, I'm still going back and taking notes from the wisdom that you were dropping. Amazing stuff, bro. Amazing.
Thank you, man. And dude, I have you to thank for the theme of today's show, because I was able to share that. I was able to really grasp what I shared about being grateful for death. To start off your show, I was like, boom, let's go. Death.
that was what really it sparked it. But there were so many other nuggets that were powerful, but that made me think about, I've heard TD Jakes talk about the blessing is in the breaking. Well, you're talking about the blessing in death, which is worse than breaking, right? Or you would think. Amazing stuff, dude. That was just dropping knowledge. Look at you. It's amazing.
Thank you, bro. I surround myself with excellence just like you. So let's dive into today's question of the day. The theme is the gifts of life and death. So Joshua, how has the gifts of life, being present here and now, infinite possibilities, anything is available for you to create, and the gift of death, that any moment it could be gone. How has that impacted your perspective and your influence on people around you in life?
Wow, man, that question for me is something. I've shared a lot on my show about how, I ran for my purpose. I knew. I don't like saying this because it seems weird, but I'm a visionary. Like, I see things and I see other people's purpose. Like, I can see it. Like, I know what you're going to do. I know I can walk down the street and talk to somebody and just, I know. Or at least I know what God called them to do. Now, not everybody chooses to walk that path and to follow that dream, or the God dream, as I call it. For me, I knew it at a young age. I saw it for the first time after being molested by men and women. And then the physical abuse that had started in my life. And little by little, I just generated this storm of hurt and brokenness in my life. And instead of choosing to get help and have a voice and scream out for help, I learned how to hide inside my own head. And then as my soul became more poisoned, my outward actions started to become more and more negative. I started to become the person that was hurting me. And my story is, we won't go into it all here, but we will not go into it here. But for 36 years of my 38 years of life, I chose to run for my purpose. Every time I go, okay, enough. I'm gonna choose life. I'm gonna choose what I was called to do. And then all of a sudden, someone would go, You're going to be just like your father. You're a piece of S. You're always going to be a cokehead. You're always going to be a womanizer. You're always going to be this. You're always going to be that. And it would just it would knock me off of my path, and I would believe those labels that were given to me. And so I would start that march back to death. Mm. And it was at an accelerated rate every single time. And in my 6th visit in jail, wow. This one was the one that was supposed to keep me there for 5 years, is the moment that I actually finally surrendered to the fact that I've run from my purpose, I've run from my calling, I've run from life. My entire life, I've run from life. I've run from the thing that was supposed to give me joy. And when I made that decision to finally start living and living purposefully and living for what I was created to do, all of a sudden death became this thing of, I don't fear the death. I don't fear it because I don't fear that if I make a mistake, something bad's going to happen. I feel protected. I feel like I feel like life has been breathed into me in such a way that nothing is going to get in my way and nothing's going to stop me. But yet, if something happens and I do die, I get to die and go to heaven knowing that I live purposefully. And that is the ultimate gift. Because honestly, I got to tell you something. Getting on top of the mountain is not the goal. The goal is to every day wake up, take the step up that mountain. Every day is to take another step towards my purpose and what I was created to do. It doesn't matter. What mountaintop is there? When is the end? You know, you talk to, I work with celebrities and I work with influencers and work in entertainment and work with all of these successful people. I've been so blessed to work. And when I say blessed, I don't envy any of their lives. I don't. Wow. The people I envy or I admire and want to be are the people that live purposefully. And people that live purposefully can be a woman that no one even knows exists, but she's out fighting on behalf of children everywhere that have been sex trafficked, or people that have been abused, or men that, you know, that are taking a stand for what's right, or people that are standing up against social injustices. Those people that are living purposely are my heroes. A question, we were at a mastermind, and actually I have to say it was one of the better masterminds I've ever been to. But one of the questions that was asked was, who's your favorite superhero? I'm like, people that live purposefully. That's what I said. That was my answer. Wow. Like Eric Swanson he can attest to it, and everybody that was in the audience. I was like, I don't have a superhero that I want to be. I want to emulate everyone that's living purposefully, because that's the meaning of life. Living out your God dream is what it's all about to me. So it doesn't matter. You can be, you make $1 billion. Well, guess what? Somebody has $1.01 billion. Somebody has 2 billion. Like, where's the mountaintop, dude?
Right.
Joy is living your purpose. Joy is pursuing your passion. That is life. That is life that I want to live. And if you die, you get to die knowing, and the people around you, your legacy that will live on is knowing that you are a man or a woman or a child that lived purposefully. That's what it's all about. Sorry, I preach.
Dude.
Sometimes.
Don't be sorry. Don't be sorry. Own it. You're sharing truth. You're sharing your soul. And everyone who is present for this interview, whether live or the replay, is ridiculously blessed to be here. You're a powerful human being. And you have the power to really make a difference, man. And I'm excited to be on this journey personally. I'm so selfish in this to be knowing you now and growing together, man. You're a rock star. Powerhouse. And God is totally serving through you, is creating, is flowing through you. So thank you for accepting your mission and your purpose.
I could have made it easier on myself.
Yeah.
It's funny. Have you ever heard the expression, like everything comes back full circle, or I guess I probably didn't say that correctly, but man, I had so many opportunities to step into my purpose, to accept the assignment. It's been brought to me back. I could tell you story after story about times I had the moment to just seize it, to take it, to take responsibility, to own up to it, to honestly, just to be honest with my past and who I was and what I did, things that I was ashamed of. And when I had those moments to really step into my purpose, I wasn't strong enough because I had not done the work. I didn't want to do the work to build my armor when people said, you're always going to be a druggie. You're always going to be a liar, a cheat. You're going to be just like your father. To hear those things, and I'm like, oh, you're right. And I would cower off and put my tail between my legs, and then I would go right back into a pile full of cocaine and drugs and wasted days and senseless sex and just a senseless life that didn't matter. That had no meaning. There was no substance. There was no purpose. But yet, for some reason, my life was spared. And I remember, and I know it, I remember going into jail the sixth time. The sixth time. 6 times. I'm not somebody that belongs. Like, I don't have the look of somebody that, well, maybe now because I'm, whatever. I'm bald and scary looking, but at that time I was a pretty boy, and like I don't belong. I don't look the part. I was walking in these like extravagantly expensive boots and jeans and looking all designer and look, just like trying to be too cool for the effing room. And I didn't belong there, but yet I really did. And I felt more comfortable with the guy that was coming off of a 5-day meth high and the murderer that was to my left. Wow. Or to my right. And I was more comfortable there than I was talking to a pastor, talking to someone like you. Because I knew I could have done better. I knew that I should have done more, but I wasn't. I was broken. And I wasn't willing to do the work for so long. Like, people think that just living your purpose is this thing of, yay, I get to live my purpose today, and I'm going to go do this, and I'm going to do that, and I'm going to just use my gifts. No, living your purpose is not easy. It's not easy. It's not supposed to be. Like, living your purpose, yes, it is that thing that is inside you. It is what you were designed to do. You can make it hard on yourself, or you can make it relatively easier, but it's still a journey. It's still a battle, and you have to work for it. But the biggest shift, and the thing that no one talks about, and it kills me, is that like doing the work is fun. Doing the work to live a good life is fun. Doing the work to bring joy to other people, to use your gift on behalf of other people is a joy. And yet when you do the work, the more you're willing to work for it, the things that come at you, the haters, the people that throw labels at you, the labels that you want to give yourself sometimes deflect so much easier. And doing the work is fun. And there's days that you don't necessarily want to do the work, but you do it because you know what the alternative is. For me, the alternative is death. I don't know why. You know what? No, that's not true. That's a lie. That's a lie. I take that back. I've said for a long time that I don't know why God spared my life. No, that is not true. I know exactly why. I know exactly why God spared my life. Now, did I deserve to have my life spared? No. Because I was born with every freaking privilege you can imagine. I grew up in an upper middle class home, grew up as a country club brat. I'd had every privilege possible. I'd gotten in trouble so much, but I was so good at talking my way out of everything that I never had to really accept responsibility for anything. I got away with everything. On my show today, I interviewed 2 amazing African-American gentlemen and hearing their stories about some of the things they went through. I'm like going, I didn't have to deal with that. I would have laughed. I mean, I can smart off to, well, I used to be able to smart off to cops, but I mean, I was that punk kid. I had that chip on my shoulder, like, oh yeah, I can do whatever I want. I had every advantage known to man. And like Samson in the Bible, great story, by the way. Like him, I took advantage of all, and it was all about excess. And yes, I was molested. Yes, I was abused. Yes, I was this. Yes, I was that. But guess what? I also had the money to get help. I had the voice to scream out for help. I had every opportunity to make things right, but I chose not to. And I suffered the consequences for it, man. I suffered a lot of consequences. So I'm not one of those stories of the story that I want to be is that it's never too late to turn your life around. But I'm also should be a warning to everybody out there. I wasted a lot of opportunities to do a lot of amazing things for a long time. I look back at some of the things and opportunities that I've had and moments in my life where I could have absolutely made a huge difference and used my gifts for other people and blessed so many more lives. I wasted those moments because I was a selfish prick. I don't want to be that guy anymore, and I'm not. I want to use every moment I have left on this earth to breathe life into other people, to amplify other people's voice, to make sure everybody has the opportunity to have their story told. That's what it's all about, man. I really believe that our gifts that are given to us are meant for other people. And, that's what it's about for me. I don't know how we got off on the subject, but I just had to say that.
It's like silence. You want to talk about death. Silence is pretty close to death. Silence is stillness. Death is stillness. You have to come to terms and embrace and accept that stillness and be present in what does my life actually mean? What does it look like? What's going on? And I know, when you're in jail, there's some stillness to sit in. Some death to sit in of, death of ego. Like, holy shit, this has been running me this whole time. Like that's the opportunity, because you get to see these other people who, if your path was just a little bit different or a little further down the road, like that's who we would become. If we keep these actions up, we get that mirror put right in front of us. So thank God for jail. Thank God for these institutions. And of course, there's opportunities to improve them and have them be more effective at really reintegrating people into society and doing their job, their intended purpose much more effectively. But thank God for them. And thank God for death. Thank God for life. Thank God for silence. So Joshua, I want to get a little bit more into gratitude and how that has showed up in your life, why it showed up in your life, and why you created a show all about it, man.
Oh, man. Well, actually, I was inspired. One of my friends, Sally Gibbs, she was posting daily gratitude on Facebook, and it was a momentary. Listen, I had practice. I mean, when I'm a man of faith. Mm-hmm. I gave my life to Christ, and I don't judge people of other religions, but for me, that's what worked. And that's what I hold to. That is what I believe, and I'm good with that. But when I was homeless, a Muslim woman took me in, so you'll never hear me ever talk bad about Muslims or Buddhists or anyone of any type of faith. Yeah. But when I made that decision, I remember that moment of joy and going, okay, God, I'm no longer, and I thought I was going to be in jail for 5 years, but I said, use me here to do your will. When I got out of jail 4 days later, I was like, oh, wait, now what?
Dang.
Oh my God. Now what do I do? And I'm like, well, I got to start living with purpose. And I remember when I got out and I was just saying, thank you, nonstop. Thank you. And everything I just felt thankful for, because I swear to you, I thought everything had been taken away. It's really easy to be thankful for stuff when everything's taken away from you. Everything. But I remember just that appreciation and calling my mom and just like, I'm so thankful. I remember calling my mom and going, thank you so much for letting me stay in jail. Think about that. I was thanking my mother for staying in jail. Kind of like being thankful for death, right? And so that started this deal where I just started writing out gratitude. When I saw my friend Sally Gibbs, works for an amazing company called Viora, medical device for the aesthetic industry, she was posting daily gratitude, and I thought, well, that's great. I remember my friend Todd Beats saying, you should do a daily show and just talk about stuff. Like, what am I going to talk about? I didn't really know. When I saw that, I was like, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do a daily gratitude on Facebook. I'm just going to say what I'm grateful for. And so it started with the phone. I'll get emotional talking about this. I'm just letting you know. I started just talking and saying what I was grateful for. And it was like, and people liked it, but whatever. But then I started noticing people popping up on the screen that I could add to interview. I thought, well, this is fun. So I kept trying to do all these impromptu interviews. And sometimes, people don't necessarily like to come on camera. So it was like people would bail, like, no, I don't want to do that. But some would. And I thought, well, this is a lot of fun. And I thought hearing about other people's gratitude would create more of a ripple effect than just me talking about gratitude.
Yes.
And around that time, I had the opportunity to go to New York to film a segment for Fox Business that went really well. But they said that they offered me my own show. Well, I posted all over Facebook about how I was going to have my own show and all of this stuff. And then, of course, it fell through. It's, in fact, the episode I shot has never aired.
Wow. But
I went to go hear TD Jakes speak, and I think I've shared this with you actually, but I went to go hear TD Jakes speak, and he said two things that I'll always remember. The blessing is in the breaking, which is the blessing in death, as you were talking about earlier. But the second thing was he was using an analogy of an airplane trying to land with one wing. Now that pilot can focus on only having one wing and go, oh my God, we're going to crash. Freaking out.
Yeah.
Or you could go, well, I have at least one wing. I'm going to land this son of a bitch.
Yeah.
he didn't say son of a bitch, by the way. But I did. And I said, you know what? I've always wanted to have a talk show. I've always wanted, I grew up watching Oprah and Don Imus and Howard Stern and Opie and Anthony and Oprah. I think I said Oprah. Larry King. I grew up in infomercials watching all of those people. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to start treating this show like it's a real show. And so my gratitude evolution and how I stepped into this was really on accident. But that moment that I decided that I was going to quit focusing on the things I didn't have and focus on what I did have, that was the most freeing moment of my life, because every day I do my show, every morning I'm going to plug it at 9 a.m. Pacific.
Yes.
Right here on Facebook Live, on Spreaker, on the Edge Radio Network, soon to be iHeartRadio, soon to be on television. All of those things happened because I quit focusing on what I didn't have, and I started focusing with gratitude on what I did have. I was homeless 2.5 years ago. I have relied on miracles and blessings from God every single month up until the last 2 months. just to be able to pay rent.
Wow.
I have gone for it. I've put all of my energy in believing in what I did was right, and every day focusing on what I did have and what I was thankful for. And by doing that, even though I didn't have wealth and everything, even though I didn't have, like I don't have the Maserati, I don't have helicopters yet, I don't have any of that stuff. But I do have Wi-Fi. I do have a camera.
Yes.
I do have an amazing group of very interesting spirit-led people that I am fascinated with, that I've been blessed with to have come on my show and share their stories. And because of that, because of people like you, my dreams are starting to come true little by little because of focusing on what I do have. And by focusing on what you have is gratitude.
Dude.
Does that answer your question?
It does. It does. So you just started off bringing people on, and then you decided to go more professional, and you started putting everything you got into this. Do you have, was it originally centered around gratitude? The videos you were just doing on your own is just like, hey, I'm going to be grateful.
Yeah, it was just, I'm going to grab my mic and see if I can do it this way. No, I'm going to set it back down. I really want one of your microphones. This is a great mic, but I need something I can move around. It's making my OCD crazy. I want to move it around. No, it started with my phone, and it was just like, today I'm grateful for, and then list things.
Right.
It evolved. And when I say I focus, like before I would show up at 9 o'clock, sometimes it'd be 7:30 in the morning. I would do it in the middle of the street. I would walk through the streets of Little Italy. Actually, some of my favorite episodes are when I would wander the streets of Little Italy, San Diego, and interview people and ask them what they were grateful for. Like those are some of my favorite. But the fact was that it was all at different times. It wasn't organized. It wasn't structured. And I wasn't putting my energy into saying, universe, God, I want this. I want this to be on television because I believe it will impact people's lives.
Yeah.
I want this to be on radio because I believe this will impact people's lives. I wasn't thinking that way before because I was focusing on, I just want to do gratitude. I wasn't intentional with my gratitude. I wasn't focusing on the specifics of why I'm great. It's one thing to go, man, I'm grateful for this. I don't even know how to pronounce this. Pellegrino water. I'm grateful that I was able to buy this. What about I'm grateful for this water because it nourishes my thirst and I love the way I feel. And I mean, I'm just topping off the top of my head, but intentional gratitude and really focusing on why and really feeling it,
the because is so powerful. Like, ladies and gentlemen, you want the hack, the gratitude hack is say, I'm grateful for lights because, and then you get to really add some power, some exponential power to that statement. It's amazing.
I'm grateful for the camera that I'm talking on because it allows me to pretend that this is a real TV show. And honestly, this potentially has a bigger audience than Fox News or Fox Business or any of these other things would ever have. Like, I love these new OTT networks because they're global. And when you have a message like what you're delivering when you do your show, and anytime you just do a Facebook Live, it has the potential to reach more people than a cable television network. Cable is so limited. I was so obsessed with having a TV show on cable. Free cable. Now we have global. Amazon TV, E360 TV, Roku, Apple TV. They're global. You have a global audience. So your message, every one of you out there listening, every one of you, every single one of you, I apologize about the downtown noise and motorcycles. Downtown San Diego can be noisy sometimes, but every single one of you listening, I swear to you, because I've interviewed them, every single one of you has a message that needs to be heard by somebody. And it may be your own kids. It may be time that you're honest with your kids about your struggles. Maybe it's time to be honest with your spouse about your struggles and why you are the way you are. I, for the longest time, was terrified to talk about being sexually molested by men and women. I was terrified to talk about half the stuff that I talk about. But yet what you find out is there's people out there that have had it happen to them too, that are in way more powerful positions than you are. But because you had the courage, little old you had the courage to step up and speak out, you've empowered this billionaire CEO to go, it happened to me too. And now they're going to use their resources to help fight these things from happening. Wow. You don't know what your message can do. You do not know what your message, the impact your message can have on people. You do not know until you say it, because you don't know who's listening. You don't know whose life you're going to change that may cause a ripple effect and change thousands, millions, even billions of lives. You don't know. Yes, little old you in that small town in America or in the Middle East or in Mexico or Spain or wherever, little old you has a voice that needs to be heard, because your message could greatly impact the world. It may not be you directly that is on stage sharing your message, but maybe it's your message that lights a fire in someone else, that sparks a revolution because they have the resources. You got to use your voice. You got to scream out for help, because let me tell you what happens when you don't use your voice. 7 years old, I was molested by 2 men for the first time. Then I was molested by a female babysitter. Then I was molested by men again. Because of that, and then being physically abused by my father, and then on top of that, of course, my sisters disappeared, so I had abandonment issues, and I had all of these problems that I internalized. And obviously, my energy, I've had the same energy my whole life. So imagine this energy that's self-destructive. Imagine this energy that's angry, that just wants to hurt people, hurt myself. That has to go somewhere. So then you turn to drugs, then you turn to alcohol, and then all of a sudden you become a womanizer. And then you start cheating, and you start living a double, triple, four lives. I would take off a mask just to show you another one. If I wanted to make you think I was being authentic, I would take off a mask, and that mask wasn't real. That wasn't me. Because of that, I've been in jail 6 times. I've been bankrupt twice. I've been in jail 6 times. I think I just said that. I've been so sick that I was told I was going to die because I was doing so much damage to myself. I cheated on everybody. I don't see my twins because of what I did. I just now have a relationship with my oldest daughter. Relationships have been the hardest thing for me. I'm 38 years old. I've wasted 98% of my life living a lie. For what? All I had to do was scream out for help. All I had to do was say, help me. I'm broken. I'm hurt. Help me. So my life is not my own now. I don't live my life for me anymore. Yeah, I could be, I have selfish things and I have selfish desires. But when I wake up every single morning, it is with the purpose of helping and making sure that everybody has a voice that needs to be heard. Because you know what? I don't want to see anyone else waste their life like I did. I don't know if I'm going to be alive when I wake up tomorrow, but at least I know when I die that I was living purposefully.
Dude, I don't think anyone's story has ever had me start tearing up. But I just see so much of myself in, like, the parts of myself that I'm ashamed of, that I have been working on in your story, like the parts of myself that I was disgusted by, that that's in me. And just to hear how you have handled it and come from, dude, you're like way 10x more intense than anything I've ever experienced. So I'm grateful that you have owned your message and your story in a way that you can share it And people like me can resonate with it and be like, holy shit. If I don't change something, like I feel the suffering. I feel the just like wanting to shrivel up and not exist in our world, in our universe anymore because of your story. In a good way. Because you're able to share, this is who you were, and this is the suffering, this is the pain. And you also have this victory that just, dude, you like rip people out of their complacency, the numbness of life, of just mediocrity, of fuck another day. It's like, oh shit, like I actually have a shot. If Josh has a shot, I got a shot. Dude. Deep, man. This is deep. Like, I was not expecting this.
Wait, this wasn't a business show, was it?
No, dude, this is wherever we go. This is purpose, man.
My bad. People always make the mistake to try to have me on a business show, and and look, here's the deal. It all applies. Dude. Because it all applies to life. Because you can't be Look, life is not about being the badass businessman. Life is about living purposefully. And purposefully is loving. Oh my God, man. You know how weird it is for me to let people in and to feel love and to like accept a compliment and to be friends with people. Like, I cry all the time. I think I've cried consecutively on every one of my shows because finally, for the first time in my life, like I can appreciate every single moment. Like getting a microphone. I did a video. I got this $50 mic. I couldn't even. I really was like, oh man, I don't really spend $50. But I mean, I was so proud when I bought this, not because now I'm going to do a show and I can talk in a microphone. What you don't know is that I dreamed of having a talk show from the age of 7 on. I watched infomercials. I didn't watch superhero movies. I didn't watch cartoons. I watched Forbes Riley do infomercials with Jack Mullane, I think, the juicing guy. I watched that. I watched the workout home Bowflex commercials, and I watched the Pitchman. I watched the Home Shopping Network. I watched Larry King and Oprah. I listened to talk radio because it's what I wanted to be. It's what I wanted to do. But I had wasted my life. I didn't waste my life, because now it's paying off. But I mean, I'd been in sales my whole life. I worked with complex disabilities, fighting on behalf of disabled people for 18 years. And then I got into skincare and then working with brands. And I guess it all kind of has come full circle, and it's all tied in to allow me to do what I do now in the way that I do it. But all I really wanted to do was to be somebody with a microphone in his face and try to inspire people and try to help deliver other people's messages and help them make their dreams come true. Because every brand out there, everyone that has a product or everyone that desires to be a celebrity, guess what? They have to go on a talk show. And the way that you help somebody deliver their message is what makes people famous. Like there are talk show hosts that make people famous because of the way they interview them. There's some people that can elevate people in such a way that they make them stars. That is exciting to me. That's what I want to do. So the moment of this, and guess what? Even living your dream, things are going to happen. I got fired on my day off. Your show was the last show I did on that other radio network. I got fired on Saturday. I thought that I was doing a good thing when I said, oh yeah, I'll be on your radio station too. I didn't know they were competitors. Like, I had no idea. I got fired on my day off. Did it stop me? No, because every moment that I get to pursue What I was called to do is the greatest day of my life. And yes, things are going to happen. Life is going to suck sometimes. But when you live purposefully, God, it's a blessing, man. It is something to when you write down your gratitude, it is a lot easier to write those things down when you know that you are living and pursuing what you were called to do. And every one of us were called to do something.
The part about the message, I think that's really what we're owning in on here is your message. Every single person listening, you have a message. And the sooner you start sharing it, and for the people out there who feel like you suck at sharing your message, or I don't want to touch that with a 10-foot pole. Stay away. No way. The sooner you start confronting that fear, guilt, shame, anxiety, feeling, and grapple with this mofo, grapple with your demons, grapple with your shadow. Because right now, for the people who aren't yet sharing it, it has power over you.
Oof. The enemy does not want you to share your message. It's the most terrifying thing in the world for the enemy is you speaking the truth. It's the most terrifying thing to the enemy. The enemy has no effect on you unless if you are keeping your gift inside. The most empowering thing you can do is to share your heart, to share your truth, whatever it is. Share your truth the way you understand it, and the enemy can't touch you. Now, the enemy will still try to get at you. The enemy will try to clip your wings. The enemy will come at you through other people. The enemy will come at you through trolls and in relationships, and they will try to find your weakness. It will look for your Achilles heel because it does not want the truth to get out there. I promise you on my own life, the most powerful thing you can do as a human being is share your truth and let other people hear it.
Yes. Yeah. And that could start with the people closest to you. One single, private, intimate conversation at a time. As scary as it might be.
So freeing, man.
Yeah.
It is scary.
Yeah.
But the alternative is worse. I promise you. And the longer you wait, it's never too late until you're dead. But the longer you wait, the longer you run from what you're called to do, the harder you're making it on yourself.
Oh, man.
And I'm letting you know right now, I have to work 5 times harder at being good and at being what I'm called to be than I really would have had to normally. But I made it harder on myself. And you don't have to. You don't have to wait until tomorrow. You can do it now. You can do it now.
Yeah. Yeah, man. This is gold. This is gold. I'm going to hands down say this is my favorite personal preference interview. In 100,
Brian and Elizabeth are coming up. They're going to do amazing.
185 interviews plus. This is definitely my favorite, man.
Well, I'm honored to call you a friend, and I have got your back, and you have my 100% support. You have so many people around you that care about you and believe in you, Chris, and will not let you fall, man. We support you. We love you. Everyone that's watching right now, everyone that's listening right now believes in you. And I love what you do. and I'm just blessed to have you as a friend, man.
Dude, I'm gonna give you a big ass hug next time I see you, man.
Can't wait to see you in person, man.
It's happening. I'm gonna be down in San Diego this Sunday.
All right.
Let's make it happen.
Awesome, dude. Thank you so much, man.
Dude, we're wrapping up here, and we want to know, our audience wants to know, what are the final takeaways? What's the new reality? Summing it up, the new reality they get to step into because of this interview.
You don't have to wait. You don't have to wait. And if you don't know what your purpose is, if you don't know what your calling is, take a deep breath and just ask God. You may not find out right away, but just keep asking. You'll see it. Ask God to bring it to you. He'll bring it to you, or she, or it, or whatever. It just ask. Ask. Yeah. Ask and you will receive. If you really want to know, you will get the answer you're looking for. I promise you. I didn't ask the right question. I blamed, I ran, I did all of these things. But until I finally asked God and just shut up to listen, I was never going to hear the answer. So if you don't know your purpose, just ask. If you do know, quit wasting time. Because you know what? 2 hours from now, an hour from now is not guaranteed, and you do not want to live a life without purpose. You don't want your family, you don't want your mom, you don't want your dad, you don't want your brother, you don't want your sister, you don't want your friends to go to your funeral and go, yeah, he lived a complicated life and just, was really confused and never really found his way. Do you want that said at your funeral? Or do you want to be known for someone that pursued their calling? What legacy do you want to leave? What legacy do you want to leave? Live purposefully. It's the greatest joy in all the world.
Yes. Joshua, how do people stay connected with you? What do you want them to do next, man?
Listen, I would love, the most important thing to me, I love what I do professionally, but my show is everything to me. So if you would check out Joshua T. Berglan's Morning Gratitude every morning at 9 a.m. Pacific. Join the conversation. I'd love to see you. I've been blessed to have the most amazing guest, and I'm, believe it or not, booked out until late March now. And I love it. And you want to see joy on someone's face every morning, man. It's to me, it's a blessing. I don't get paid to do it. I do it because I love it. It's one of the greatest blessings of my life. So I would appreciate that. And, look, I mean, professionally, we can talk about that another time, but my show and the message that our guests deliver there is everything to me.
I'm humbled by you, Joshua, and it is an honor to have you in my life. It is an honor to have you on becoming your greatest possible self, and every single person who is listening to you is blessed to have you here, man.
I love you, man. Thank you so much for having me on the show.
I love you too, brother. You have the best day ever. Keep up the amazing work. 2018 is our effing year, baby.
I love it, man. Take it easy, brother.
All right, man. I'll see you soon, okay?